Welcome back, everybody, to I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. This is Slim
This is Black.
coming back to you. We're continuing on from our previous episode 2, talking about games that were turned into movies and TV shows, video games. So, since we've been kids, they've been doing this for a very, very long time.
Mhm.
um, what I wanted to say, what I hinted at the end of the last episode, is I remember when I was a kid, an Atari game, multiple Atari games were turning into Saturday morning cartoons. Just recently, I found a website. I'm not going to say the website name out loud right now, but I'll tell you later.
Mhm.
Um, there's this website I found that has every cartoon ever made online for free that you can watch.
Mm.
And I was just scrolling through, looking at all these different cartoons and stuff like that. And the cartoon that I found was called Pole Position.
Oh wow.
Do you remember that cartoon?
Yes, I do
You
remember Pole
do, with the
Position.
cars that
Yes.
changed all that.
Yep.
Dude,
Mhm.
that brought back so many memories from Saturday morning cartoons.
Mhm.
And I ended up looking at the season was only like 10 episodes, 10 or
Yes.
12 episodes.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
I didn't even realize that. As a kid, you're seeing reruns and stuff, and you think it lasts so much longer than that, but
Mhm.
it's only 10 or 12 episodes. And it was the brother and sister,
Mhm.
and it was based off of the Atari game Pole Position.
Mhm.
So they had to try to find a way to actually bend that into it. And that was nothing like the game.
No, of course not.
But
most of the time it's not.
but so Pac-Man. Do you remember Pac-Man cartoon?
Of course.
Pac-Man cartoon Pac-Man is just basically a little yellow dude who
Mhm.
hasn't played it, but everyone's played it. Little
Mhm.
yellow dude going around, grobbling these little light circles,
Power
yellow
pellets.
lights, and they get the power pellets,
Mhm.
right? And he's going all around and getting them all up. Well, he got Ghost.
Mhm.
They actually, for the most part, kind of stayed true to that to a point.
Mhm.
Like you can only do so much with that,
Yeah,
okay? Because
exactly.
it's Pac-Man,
Yeah, yeah.
but they actually had elements of that in the show.
Mhm.
In Pole Position, I don't remember that too much like that the game, but again, you're taking these games and you're turning them into a TV show or a movie, and and it was really crazy because you got to try to find the best way to get that storyline adapted.
Mhm.
So, like we were talking about last episode, the Resident Evil, it did not do a very good job of that.
Mhm.
It to me, Resident Evil, they was just like, okay, we got to monetize this the best we can. Find me somebody to write a script. I don't care how it is. Just write a script, make it scary, throw Resident Evil's name on there, and do the best that we can.
And throw somebody in there named Alice who we've never heard about before. Do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. Let's find one of the most butt kickingest chicks that we could find.
Yeah.
There's some exec was saying some crap like that.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
I love Mila Jovovich.
Yeah,
She
yeah, yeah. She was
she
great.
is dope. She
Love her.
needs to be like in an all female Expendables movie.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
she would be so dope in
She
that.
she she she'd be awesome. I remember in Fifth Element. That's when I really
Yes, multipass.
discovered her. Believe it or not, because Fifth Element was before Resident Evil,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's when I first discovered. I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's the girl from that's the lady from the Fifth Element.
She was in something else. I can't remember what else I saw her. I saw her in movies from years ago, like when
Yeah,
she was younger. I can't remember what it was though.
she was also in the Joan of Arc movie.
Right, I
You
remember
know,
that. Yes, I remember that. That was actually a really good
yeah.
movie. But and it's so funny you mentioned Fifth Element. Sorry for the sidetrack, everybody. But one of the characters from Fifth Element, Rudy Rod,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the
Chris Tucker.
character.
Yeah.
That is the character that I freaked out at Comic Con this year when I saw. I've got a video with him. I'm gonna show you the video afterwards.
Ruby
The
Rod.
dude played that character perfectly. And he got like a video when we were at the end of it taking pictures and talking and stuff like
Mm.
that. He's talking and actually he's like, "Are you green?" I was like, "I'm the greenest. I'm the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
meanest."
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Stuff like
Green.
that. And then at the end, he goes, "Zzz," just like Chris Tucker did. I was like, "Oh no!" I just bust out laughing. And he made it so hard for me to stay in character.
Yeah.
I was freaking out at some of those other people. Couldn't stay in character. One dude, he went down and kissed my Converse, and I was froze. I didn't know what to do. I was like,
That's right, because you were show enough.
yeah, yeah. So
No,
anyway,
no, he was just he was playing. You're show enough, and
yeah,
he just this scared guy that's
yeah.
scared of you. And he
The
says, "Yo, when show
the
got said kiss my Converse,
the
you
dude
got to get
freaked
down and
out.
kiss
And
him."
yeah, yes. I have a picture of the dude kissing my Converse because yeah, he saw Show Enough. So yeah, if you ever want to look at and see my costume, just Google Show Enough Comic Con 2020. I'm actually on a Google page, so that's actually pretty funny. But yes, getting back to to that, to that Mila Jovovich in the movie, she played that role very well.
Mm,
However, that just I I really wish that they had more elements in
mm,
that first movie.
mm,
However, I guess because the fans were so pissed about that, they ended up throwing little sprinkles of elements of the game in the next movie.
mm.
Jill, Nemesis,
Yeah,
Carlos,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
in
I
the next
believe they was
movie
like
after
that.
that, they put
Mm,
more people, you know, and I think they were trying to struggle. And after that first movie, they I don't want to say they struggled because they ended up putting out 6 of them, and
mm,
they're about to do a reboot now.
mm.
So they weren't struggling that hard.
Yeah.
But I I I I would have to say that they had to know that okay, well, screw the fans, or you know, it's something because it they kept going, but not even following like as much of the storyline of any of the games until the second movie.
Mm.
And doing, you know, throwing those elements in there, and I'm just like, what is the purpose? It's like there's so many different games that has been made into movies that it's just crazy. And like looking at these lists, there's even a game the just I've seen this list. Sonic, come on, Sonic the Hedgehog,
Mm.
Earthworm Jim is a movie. Double Dragon. Did you see the Double Dragon live action movie?
I saw the first 5 minutes and I stopped watching.
Bruh, bruh. I sat through the whole thing.
No,
And
I can tell you the one that disappointed me the most. The Street Fighter movie. Oh my goodness. Jean-Claude Van Damme is Guile? Come on, man.
bruh, I
Are
was
you
like, when
serious?
they, oh my gosh, and then I'm sorry I'm butchering this name, but I don't know anyone who said it correctly. Daslim or whatever,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
doctor, yeah,
Dalsim, the
Dasim,
stretch guy.
and like how they had him made lose his hair and stuff like that, and he had like chains on his wrists
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It was
I'm like, are you kidding
yeah,
me,
yeah.
man?
They totally
And then
destroyed that
and then
movie.
they turned Giles' friend, I can't remember, Charlie. They turned Charlie into Baraka or
Yeah,
Barlog, or I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
See,
Balrog or something like
Balrog,
that.
yeah, and I can't believe I'm chopping up the names. I'm like, I used to love Street Fighter, and I cannot believe I'm chopping up all the names right now. It's just hilarious. It's just one of those things where you're having a complete bad brain fart. Um, but a movie that they did try to kind of keep to the storyline, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, yeah. They tried.
So so
There's one.
so here's the funniest thing. A lot of people I know trashed the very first Mortal Kombat movie.
I don't. If they trash that movie, if they trash the first Mortal
And I'm talking
Kombat
about the one
movie,
from the 90s
yeah,
or
yeah,
early
that's the one I'm
2000s,
talking about.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one from
Mhm.
the '90s. I ain't
Mhm.
talking about the remake they just had, which was actually very good.
I enjoyed the remake, so
Yeah,
but go
the
ahead.
remake was very good.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the original, the first Mortal Kombat, the original. That one, they if you trash that one, I would hate to see what you did with the second one because the second one was horrible. The Mortal Kombat, what was it?
Annihilation.
Annihilation.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
was the worst Mortal Kombat movie I've ever seen in my life. It was I couldn't believe it. My favorite characters would just die instantly. Yeah, yeah. I mean that you saw Rain in Annihilation. Rain was a ninja from Mortal Kombat 3. Um, he was one of the. I believe he was when it first came out. He was like a bonus character, like kind of like. But Rain, which was one of my favorite ninja characters from Mortal Kombat.
Mhm.
Uh, Shao Kahn in Annihilation killed him instantly. He didn't really do much in that movie, but get killed. You
Mhm.
know, um, for most, I can't speak for everybody, of course, but for uh, most people like uh, the enemies in Mortal Kombat.
Mhm.
the ninjas, Rain. Uh, I'm not gonna say Sub-Zero. At first he was, but he ended up being an ally.
Mhm.
Um, Scorpion, and Baraka, and just it just seemed like they were more badass,
Mhm.
than the original Shaolin monk, the Shaolin monk good guys
Mhm.
like Kung Lao and Liu Kang.
Right, yeah.
You had Raiden, the Thunder God. You
Correct.
know, uh, but I believe in part one in Mortal Kombat One, the game. Raiden was one of my favorite characters, and he was actually on the good side. But I ended up, being more interested in the bad guys.
No,
They
yeah.
had it seemed like they were a lot more fierce. They
I
had a
know
lot more,
a lot of people I know actually prefer bad
yeah,
guys. They like the bad guys in Star Wars. They like the bad guys in Harry Potter. Like the Slytherins. A lot of people like
yeah,
Slytherins. Yeah, you don't know Harry Potter. We'll get to that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah.
they like
Yeah, I
the
can't
they,
speak on that.
they like the super villains in a lot of the different movies. They go
Yeah,
for the like Brainiac,
yeah,
Lex Luthor,
uh,
Doctor Doom,
yeah, yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
those
Doctor
kind of people.
Doom,
Yeah.
Doctor Doom. Not to get off topic because we are talking about games to movies, but Doctor Doom. Uh, Doctor Doom is probably one of my most favorite villains in comic books.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
it, it sucks that because I'm not a big Fantastic Four guy,
Mhm.
and it sucks he comes from that particular comic. But
We can go into that. We can go
but
into that
we'll
not
go into
now.
that.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
go into
but
that
we'll go
later
into that later.
because I do want to ask you more about comic books movies.
Mhm.
So we can definitely talk about that. That's another one of different conversations that we can have.
Mhm.
Um I want to talk more. So did you ever see the Super Mario Brothers original movie with John Leguizamo and I think it was Bob Hoskins?
I,
I want to
I
look this
did. I
guy's
didn't.
name
I
up.
didn't watch that movie because there's certain movies that I feel like if they make that movie out of a game,
Mhm.
particular game, I just it depends on the game, and I'm like a Super Mario movie.
I watched it. I watched it because I knew it was going to be bad movie, and to me, I went in there knowing how bad it was going to be, and it was surprisingly good and funny. But of course, that one is a perfect example of them trying to pull a storyline out of something, but it's so hard to do. So they failed, but they didn't fail
Mm,
because they kept to it. Like Koopa had, they had the pipes. They went through the pipes. They had Koopa Troopers. They had Goombas, different
mm,
things like that. They had Mario and Luigi. I can't remember a princess, but they did save a girl. I don't remember if she was like a princess or whatever. I think, uh, but they did save a girl. But I think Luigi was actually the one who like was into the chick or something like that. I can't
mm,
remember. But the way they did that, and then the way they had Bowser, they had Dennis Hopper's Bowser, and he like some kind of laser. He had like fake skin on or something like that to be so he could be Dennis Hopper instead of Bowser, and
mm.
it was insane. Somebody was definitely high when they actually did that movie. I'm serious. Like it was really seriously crazy, and I want to see what year that movie was from. I'll look that up in a second. But I enjoyed that movie because I didn't take it too seriously.
Mm,
So many people trash that movie, and here's my thing about especially video game movies and just movies in general.
mm,
There's always going to be a bad movie, but if you go into it knowing that it's going to be a bad movie, enjoy it for what it was. It was something
mm,
that wasn't created yesterday, that you did not see the day before. And some people feel like they may have wasted their life watching that movie.
mm.
But honestly, what would you have been doing other than watching that movie the time you're doing it? If that's the case, if you know that movie's going to be bad, wait for that movie to come out on demand,
Mhm.
especially now. But back when we were kids, we didn't have on demand, but we had VHS tape.
Yep.
But we're talking about now.
Mm.
If you feel like that movie's gonna be bad, wait for it to come out on demand,
Mm.
or wait for it to even come on regular TV and just watch it on TV while you're doing housework.
Mm.
Sundays afternoons, Monday through Friday, whenever you're doing your housework, put that bad movie on, because you
Yep.
might actually find something in there that you like. You might find something funny. You might find something scary. You might find the next great actor that you've never seen before, because some
True.
of these famous actors have actually started off in some really crappy movies,
Ridiculous movies.
But then again, too, there's some actors that start off on some great movies, and I'm about to do a little jump here. I didn't realize that I don't know why, but Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favorite actors. Like,
Mm.
and when I say favorite for him, I say it kind of loosely. I just really like the different characters he can play, though,
Mm.
and just how he does his characters.
Mm.
He was in Donnie Darko. Have you ever seen that movie?
I want to watch Donnie Darko.
Hmm.
Really, I don't know why, but I developed an interest in watching that movie. I just hadn't got around to it yet. But Donnie Darko was supposed to be, it's somebody dressed up in like a rabbit and so like in a bunny
Yeah,
in a
well,
bunny rabbit
that's
costume.
that's kind of scary. And see that, so that's the reason why I kind of went off on this little tangent,
Mm.
because this is like it's kind of a mind twist,
Mm.
and just the different things in that movie that happened. It left me like, what the hell did I just watch? And I
Mm.
watched it again. I'm like, wow, this movie is just so freaking genius, because there's
Mm.
like a little time travel in that movie, but it's not time travel, so it's
Mm.
kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, watch that movie. Going back to Super Mario Brothers, that movie came out in 1993.
Mm.
So it was like what, 14, 15, somewhere around there.
Mm.
Um, and again, as a kid, I was just like, okay, I know this movie's gonna be bad. It's a
Mm.
movie based off of Mario Brothers, which already wasn't like the best game. Well, no, I'm sorry. Like, sorry, don't come for me, everybody. Okay, it was the best game at the time for what it was. However, it just, to me, it didn't hit the way I wanted it to. So
Mm.
that's why everybody's about to get mad. But I've never finished the original Mario Brothers game. I got to the end and I was just like, I died one time, and I was like, "Do I really want to continue on with this?" And I was like, "No."
Hold on,
So
hold
I
on.
stopped.
Hold on. Not to cut off Slim here, but you never beat the first Mario?
I have honestly, and I will say this, and I again will hear a million Greeks cry. I have never beat the first Mario, and again, like I said, I've played it. I've got all the way to Bowser,
Mm.
and he was throwing them hammers,
Yep.
spitting that fire,
Mhm.
and I got hit by one hammer, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I got this far. I think I'm good.
one one hammer dictated that
One hammer, and
for Slim.
I beat a whole bunch of all these other Marios. I beat two, three, all of these different ones. I beat, Super Nintendo Mario, that
Mm.
one, the Super Mario, whatever. But I have never beat the original. And it is hilarious to me
That is
because I still
crazy.
have no desire to go back and beat the original.
Yeah, you would think because you beat part
Dude,
two
dude,
or you beat part three.
I've never even tried to go back to that world, to World 8.
Oh wow.
Like, I've played it. I've even played the lost levels.
You
Uh,
played
I've
the lost levels
I played the lost levels,
and you didn't go back to
and I've
you,
never gone back in the original. Once I got hit with that first hammer, once I got hit with that first hammer, and I was like, seriously, dude, I even had extra men left. I had extra men left, and I was like, I hit it, and I was like, I don't even want to play anymore.
I'm literally cracking up over here because I know Slim has heard about the cheat code where you could kind of like jump on the shell and get the extra men. You can get over to like 50 men.
Yeah. I've done that
And
like
Chris,
I've done like 2 or 3 times before. I've done that shell like glitch or whatever. I've done
yeah.
that.
That shell glitch is crazy. I don't know how that was even discovered, but
Yeah, you just have just enough screen
yeah,
right in front of a staircase,
yep,
and you got to keep jumping up and down on
exactly,
that shell. Yeah,
exactly. I
yeah,
don't
I've
know
done
how
that.
that even happened,
Yeah.
but um, but jumping off topic here, going back,
Mhm.
uh, you just heard it. He had extra minis, and he
Look,
still chose not to go
I
back.
chose not. I've still to this
That is
day
crazy.
I have not really beat it, and
But
now I wonder if I ever will beat it because of the simple fact that I I chose not to. I honestly wonder if I ever will beat it or not. So, um, you heard it here first. Some people who I've already told still can't believe it, but yes, I have not. And that's the game that my wife loves. Every Mario game that comes out, she gets that she can. Every game she can get, she will get, and she's played, and she loves Mario.
Mhm.
She's beat that game so many times. Still can't believe that I've never beat that game. She's like, I can't believe that you beat all these complex games, but you've never beat Mario.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly,
and I,
exactly. It kind of blows your mind. But you know what? It's funny. It doesn't make sense, but yet it makes sense.
yeah,
Because there's certain games that I just believe it or not, um, believe it or not, I've never beaten Gears of War 3.
well, you didn't like Gears of War 3
Yeah,
though.
I didn't like Gears of War 3, but I still played it, and I did make it to the end, you know.
Mhm.
But I just didn't beat it with the our friend who we hope comes to the compact
Yeah, 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 yeah.
the
I got
podcast.
it.
But
Well, we can actually we can actually go through and play Gears of War
yeah,
because we can get them on our systems.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we can actually
exactly,
download
exactly.
those. And
But
I can go back and play and beat Mario, but again, there's just I don't know, for something in me has no energy for Mario, for the original Super Mario
I
Brothers.
just don't, and no knock on Nintendo. As a kid, I loved them. I love,
Same here. Nintendo is what
mm,
made my love of gaming flourish.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. Nintendo is
So
what made it happen. So I thank them for that. But I'm not going back. I'm not going back because
yeah.
it's to me Nintendo is for the younger generation.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
So, sorry we got off a topic a
Mhm.
little bit here because of my revelation here, everybody. But going back to the Mario movie, yes, it was a trip. The movie itself, it wasn't as bad, but it was Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. So Bob Hoskins played Mario, John Leguizamo played Luigi. There was a Daisy,
Yeah, it was
and
Daisy
yeah,
and then it's Princess Peach.
yes, they didn't
Mhm.
have Peach in that one. They had
They didn't have
Daisy.
Peach.
No, no,
How
that
is
was
it Mario Brothers without Peach?
uh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Bruh, like I said, the movie to me, it blew my mind because I'm like, how like they actually made Goombas,
Yeah.
but they had human bodies, but a Goomba head. Look at this, man. So that's a Goomba. Yeah,
That's a Goomba.
that's a Goomba, bruh. So, but anyway,
Oh my gosh.
it was crazy. There was
I-
one point they were in an elevator in that movie, and like the Goombas were so stupid that they were able to start the Goombas dancing
Mhm,
to elevator music. They just started making them sway,
mhm.
and then Mario and Luigi were able to escape the Goombas in the elevator
Mhm.
because the Goombas were too busy dancing in the elevator to notice it them. It's like, are you serious? Are you really? They're really. That's how they got out of it. So, but anyway, yeah,
Oh,
it was hilarious. But what were you about to say?
Hollywood, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
tell you.
right, right. So, but yeah, that movie, Street Fighter, they went way off the reservation with those. Uh, two movies. Okay, I'm gonna say two, but it's really technically one movie genre. But they had two different actresses play this role, two different times. Tomb Raider. Have you seen
Okay.
those movies?
I've seen Tomb Raider. I've seen the first Tomb Raider movie,
Hmm.
which had Angelina Jolie.
Okay. I
Um,
I enjoyed both of those. I enjoyed Tomb Raider, and I enjoyed Cradle of Life. I think that was the second one. It was the name of Cradle of Life.
yeah, I didn't see that one.
So That one was actually really good.
Oh wow.
It was really good, and both of them to me were good.
Mm,
I enjoyed it because I played Tomb Raider. I played that game. That was another game I had to put down for some months
mm,
because it was, to me at the time, it was so hard to defeat,
mm,
and I had to put it down and get my bearings and think about, okay, how do I want to handle this one? Because that one has puzzles that you have to beat as well and
mm,
figure out. There's different things. There's one thing, like I remember specifically, there was one puzzle I had to figure out how to get down like a cliff or something like that. While you had to hit a switch and
mm,
you had to get down a cliff quick, really quick as possible, before the door closes.
mm,
And it took me so long to figure out how to get off of that ledge and get down to get without dying. I think I can't remember if you died or not that way.
mm.
It's so funny too when you play Tomb Raider and she actually dies and hits something. You hear it. It was like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like jarring. But anyway, that game was so hard to beat. I had to put it down for a while to
Mm,
figure out how to beat it. And I'm talking about the original.
uh,
But I think Angelina Jolie did such a good job on that, and I was with a lot of people. They was like, "Oh, well, the new one, she doesn't have the shape." I'll
mm,
put it that way, the shape of Laura Croft of the games. So I don't know if it's gonna be good. Man, I felt so bad when I saw that movie. I'm like, man, I feel like an idiot because this girl she was so dope in that movie.
mm,
When I tell you, like, she is another one that, like, that action stars and the whole thing about it, like the whole figuring out the puzzles of it and everything. And she did very good. And at the end, she ended up getting the signature guns. That was so dope. I was like, man,
mm,
I'm in it. If she does another one, I definitely want to see another one of hers.
mm,
I haven't heard of another one coming up. I
mm,
mean, of course, just Google it and find out. But
mm.
yeah, I'm in it. I would definitely love to see another Tomb Raider movie. So that's a movie I think that was done real well. Do you have any game movies that you think other than Mortal Kombat that were done really well?
That was done really well. There's a good question. I would say that I,
Sorry.
and this is more of I'm a very harsh critic when it comes to games to movies,
Hmm.
and to me, if it doesn't scream, if it doesn't scream, okay, I'm not saying it has to be 100% just like the game, but it has to be very very close
Hmm.
for me to
Hmm.
consider it to be a good movie from the game.
Hmm.
And I can't say that I would say the first Mortal Kombat movie was okay.
Hmm.
I would say it wasn't bad. It wasn't good though either,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess maybe I'm being a little biased because I have a love for the ninjas,
Hmm.
and I didn't like just like in the first Mortal Kombat movie, Reptile, he's a lizard. He's
Hmm.
camouflaged. He's like kind of spying throughout the whole movie
Yeah.
on Liu Kang and
Right.
and and
He
and,
just
uh,
gets him
and
like,
Katana.
yeah.
And Liu Kang finally finds him,
Hmm.
takes him and throws him into that statue. That statue catches him, and then he forms into the humanoid reptile.
Reptile.
Then it
Yeah,
says
they even do.
reptile, and he goes on and he's beating the crap. And I'm literally beating the crap out of Liu Kang.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, he gets one move, and all of a sudden, he's out of energy. And Liu Kang ends up beating his ass. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't get that. I'm like, who directed this? Because I'm like, I don't understand how Reptile could be beating his ass the way he was beating it. I mean, he was stomping on his head. Did you see the fight scene?
Yes,
It
yes,
was
I
it was
remember.
crazy. He
Mhm,
was beating the crap out of him, and then all of a sudden, Reptile, Liu Kang gets off one hit, and now Reptile's he's all out of energy, and he's
mhm.
getting his ass beat. And I'm like, huh? That don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's the type of stuff I'm like, well, in the game, anybody could die, and I
Mhm,
understand it. I get it. There has to be a plot. There has to be good guys. There got to be bad guys.
mhm.
But come on, don't do Reptile like
Yeah, yeah.
that. Don't do
Yeah.
Reptile like that. So I just that kind of annoyed me.
Mhm.
It annoyed me how Sub Zero died.
Yeah.
It annoyed me, how Scorpion died. Because that was another guy that was beating the crap out of Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage climbs up that thing. He flips up. Scorpion flips up. And he's like, "Get down here!"
Uh-huh.
Kicks him down, and
Yeah.
he's like literally beating the crap out of Johnny Cage. Once again, he dies. He
Yeah.
takes off his mask to burn Liu Kang, to burn Johnny Cage. I'm sorry, and Johnny Cage uses this shield that he gets, and he blocks the fire.
Yeah.
You can't block fire with a steel with a steel shield. The shield will heat up, and you'll burn yourself. Come on, man! Don't do Scorpion like that. Come on. So like I said, the remake, the most recent Mortal Kombat,
Mhm.
they did Scorpion and Sub-Zero justice.
Right, yeah, making them
You
fight
know,
against each other,
you're
one
making
good,
them
one
fight against
bad.
each other because they were mortal enemies from different clans.
Right.
That is closer to the game.
Mhm.
I didn't like the fact that when you first ran into Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the first Mortal Kombat movie, that they were directly under Shang Tsung's control. That's not the story. That's not the game. So I would say it wasn't a bad movie, the first Mortal Kombat movie, but it wasn't a good one. But I would say that in my opinion, that's the closest movie as far as that I would give my approval on. Like, okay, yeah, because I can't say the first Resident Evil movie
Mhm.
because I mean they just totally missed the mark on that. I
Right.
mean they developed a character that came out of nowhere,
Mhm.
Alice, and it was this guy that was trying to infiltrate Umbrella to sell the G virus
Mhm.
and whatnot. He ended up it was all types of crazy stuff. It was a good plot for the first movie,
Right,
but
right.
it was so far away from the actual Resident Evil
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah, definitely.
You
I
you didn't
completely
hear
agree.
anything about Wesker in that first movie.
Correct. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Wesker was the first. He was the first. He's the first guy. He's off the first Resident Evil.
You're right, right, right.
He's actually part of your team.
Yes,
You know,
correct, yes.
so
He's the
so
captain.
yeah, he was the captain. So
Yeah.
so in my opinion, they just were way off the mark.
Mhm.
At least the first Mortal Kombat, they at least tried to come close to it, and whatnot. So I would say Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat was that gets my approval.
Yeah. Have you seen well, first let me ask you this. Did you play Halo? Any of the Halos?
I didn't for ladies and gentlemen, just off our first episode. For those of you who actually got a chance to hear our first episode, uh as I stated, Slim here on the first episode.
I
I
forgot.
didn't stay. No, it's fine. Because it's good to go over this stuff just in a small a bit of time.
Mhm.
But I didn't start off on the first Xbox.
Okay, okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
I didn't start playing Xbox until the 360. So the Halo craze I
Right.
missed. So I didn't. I've never played a Halo.
But okay, so no, here's the part that so same here. I didn't start on the
Mm,
first Xbox.
mm,
I mean, I've played other people's Xboxes,
mm.
but I started off on the 360 playing Xbox. But I started playing Halo 3.
Ah.
I missed the first two.
Mhm.
Uh, in time, I ended up going back and playing the first two again and beating them.
Mm,
Actually, like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I is when I played them and beat them again.
mhm.
Um, but I was able to start and beat and beat three, and then go on. I have four, and then I can't remember. Did I get? I think I do have Guardians. I got Halo.
Yeah, yeah.
God, I got Guardians. But I haven't played Infinite yet. Leading me, the reason why I'm asking this is
Mhm.
because I was gonna say they have a TV show out.
Yep. I knew that. Yeah, exactly. I knew where you were going with
Yes, yes.
it.
So, so you didn't play the game, so you don't really know about the TV show.
No.
So there's this scene in the TV show. First episode, a bunch of the Covenant is raiding this village, this town,
Mhm.
and then the Spartans get dropped in there. Man, that stuff is so dope. I mean, that gave you the true Halo feel.
Oh wow.
And then later on, it just leads to something different. and I didn't get through the whole series.
Mhm,
I've only heard things about it.
mhm,
I'm not going to pay for that streaming service just to watch one show.
mhm,
There's other things I could watch on there,
mhm.
but this whole streaming stuff is getting out of control, so I'm just not paying for that. And
Right.
then sorry, I know people are screaming, why don't you just get a modded stick? Why don't you do all this other stuff? I just don't have the energy to constantly keep updating this stuff.
All the time.
As soon as the stuff go out, you gotta
Mhm.
go find another one. No,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
know
yeah.
it's hard finding the time and energy,
Mhm,
but more power to everybody. I don't want to ever knock anything anybody does,
mhm.
but I used to download a lot of stuff just to watch. I don't do that anymore because it's a lot of stuff to try to make sure you're safe and make sure you're not getting viruses and all. It's a
Yeah.
lot of time and work. I just want my stuff to just work.
Right,
Right.
right.
So, but I started watching that, and by the end of the show, I was like, I wasn't locked in.
Mm.
So even if I ever do get a chance to watch the rest, I don't know if I'm going to, especially with Master Chief apparently taking his helmet off a lot. That's one
Oh,
thing
yeah, I don't.
I'm not down with
Yeah, I
because
don't agree with that. And I'm not even like I
Mhm.
said, I have no experience with Halo, but I've never seen Master Chief without his helmet.
Yeah, but see, that's just the game.
Yeah.
So I listened to the books,
Mhm.
and in the books, he actually does take his helmet off a lot.
Oh.
So, and that's the thing, but it's like, do I want to actually be one of those people who's a stickler,
Mhm.
or do I go with, well, okay, the books are actually saying he takes his helmet off a lot. He's even takes his suit off in the books.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, it's kind of one of those situations where I don't know how I want to feel about that.
Mhm.
But going back to what we were saying, the episode of the show was good, and that scene where they attack and where the Covenant attacks and the Spartans fight back, scene is so amazing. And he gets one of the chain guns and just goes into town on them, and
Oh wow.
it is just A1 scene. But they actually have a couple of short movies. They
Mhm.
actually have an animated movie.
Mhm.
They have a really good animated movie about one of the best books they have, which is
Mhm.
called The Fall of Reach.
Mhm.
And like I said, all this is based off of the game series. And The Fall of Reach is a great story. It
Oh
is a
wow.
really good story, and it talks about Master Chief becoming Master Chief,
Mm.
and it shows like how he and the rest of them were kidnapped and different things like that. And it shows that how they were altered and made into Spartans
Mm.
from small children.
Mm.
And it's a really good book, and that was almost adapted almost word for word from the book.
Mm.
So, okay, that's one of those things where by proxy, basically, that game was turned into a movie, even though it wasn't exactly like the game, because there is a game called Fall of Reach,
Mm.
but you're playing is different than the actual movie. But the movie is like the book, which is still based off of the Fall of Reach.
Mm.
So either way, though, that is actually that's one of the best adaptations for me.
Yeah.
Um, there's a couple that probably just aren't coming to mind right now,
Mm.
but I think it was actually really good, and they actually have I think if someone can do that, they do it well.
Mm.
They have a couple of different aspects where they could pull from different other like they could pull from that one game, especially if it's a series. But if you take a movie or a TV series and you can pull different aspects from different parts of different games,
Mm.
but you put it together and make a cohesive story, a cohesive thought, like it's all together,
Mm.
and that could be a really good and beautiful thing because, like I said, with the Fall of Reach, they have multiple games and they give you pieces of multiple games in that movie, which was also the book,
Mm.
and it was just so good. And like I said, that game was almost, I mean, that movie was almost perfect, and the game is so good too.
That's awesome. I envy you
Mhm.
because And when I say an interview, you actually experience a show slash a movie that actually
Mhm.
sticks very close to the actual game,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm really looking for in these movies.
Mhm.
Now, I will mention a show. Um, there's a lot of guys who are RPG fans who are fans of The Witcher,
Okay, okay, yeah, mhm.
and as you know, The Witcher was on Netflix. I'm not exactly sure how many seasons he had because I haven't really looked at the Witcher series on Netflix yet.
Mhm.
But I became a huge fan of The Witcher after The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Mhm.
And I played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and that's when I became a big fan of The Witcher.
Mhm.
And there's this scene in it's actually in the series when he becomes the Butcher of Blaviken.
Mhm.
And this scene is such a good, it's a very violent scene, but it's such a good scene. It depicts Geralt uh and how he got his reputation as the Butcher of Blaviken. In that scene, the combat is ridiculous because the guy who plays as Geralt is the same guy who plays as Superman in Man of Steel.
Right, right,
You
Henry
know,
Cavill, Henry
yeah,
Cavill.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I mean, he that scene was such a good combat scene. Um, that's about the closest. I'm like, well, yeah, that's Geralt. That's the Butcher of Blaviken right there.
Mhm.
He played that scene so well.
So he was perfect for that
He
role.
was. It's almost like I don't know why he chose why the producers chose him, but I'm starting to see why.
Mhm.
Because when I first heard he was playing, I was like, Superman's playing at the role that he's playing the role. I don't know about that. But then when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, that's why they chose
Yeah.
him. And
Mhm.
it's really, I haven't seen the Witcher show, but after that scene, and actually the only way I saw that scene because the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is such a good game.
Mhm.
The soundtrack, just the soundtrack,
Mhm.
pulls you into that game, and there's there's different names of different soundtracks that's on that game, and I like to listen to certain soundtracks. When I'm just chilling, playing game, or when I'm just chilling in the basement, I'm like, hey, I want to hear uh Steel for Humans,
Mhm.
Silver for Monsters.
Uh-huh.
Because anybody that's familiar with the Witcher, you kill monsters and ghosts and stuff with silver.
Mhm.
You use steel for humans and wild animals and stuff like that.
It's
Sorry,
all good, it's all
yeah, sorry
good.
for the swearing, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We're trying to keep it as clean as
we're we're,
possible.
we're we're keeping this as clean as possible. Um, but anyways, back to that. So I wanted to listen to the soundtrack it's called Still for Humans.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when I went on YouTube to look for the Still for Humans, they actually had a scene, the Butcher of Blaviken scene, playing that particular soundtrack.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when I say it blew my mind
Mhm.
because that scene was so good. You know, it was, if I could replay the scene, I would, but it's not my YouTube account. I'm not the one who made it, so I'm not
Mhm.
gonna go. I'll say, if you're a big Wild Hunt fan,
Mhm.
Geralt fan, you go to look for Still for Humans and go to YouTube and get that scene from the actual show.
I'm gonna start Witcher. I'm actually gonna
Yeah,
start it tonight. So
yeah.
I think I'm gonna start it because my daughter is supposed to watch it, but my daughter's boyfriend has been telling us about that show, and I think my wife watched it, or I think my daughter had watched it. I can't remember, but I know everybody in this house was talking about The Witcher.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it because I've been watching other stuff.
yeah.
I need to watch it though
Yeah,
because a
the
lot of people was
Witcher is
talking
on
about it.
an he's a Geralt of Rivia is on another level.
Mhm.
I didn't think I like an RPG more than the Elder Scrolls,
Mhm.
but the Witcher drew me in so much,
Mhm.
that I become a huge fan of the Witcher.
Yeah.
Huge fan of the Witcher.
Yeah, well,
You know,
I'm here looking at a list of films that are based off of video games. Um, Uncharted, I have that down there to play. I want to try it.
Mm.
My daughter's boyfriend told me about that. He said actually that has elements of the game in there as
Oh,
far as like it. there's some scenes in there that are directly off of the game.
Mm.
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the movie. I'm sorry, saw
Mm.
the movie, but I haven't seen the game and what he's talking about yet. And that's another thing I need to get on that game. I
Mm.
need to fire up my PS4 and just play. I got the whole collection right down there, and I just need to fire it up and play. And it's just a matter of getting time. Let's, being a married gamer, you understand getting time and picking
Boy,
games.
boy, don't I
Yeah.
understand.
But the
Yeah.
funniest part about this list is two things. I see a lot of games that I think were pretty funny and kind of sucked. Um, Prince of Persia being one. That movie, I
Movie
didn't
was
play the
horrible.
game.
Game was pretty good.
Game was good.
Mm.
Movie, yeah, the movie was bad. I enjoyed the movie for what it was
Mm.
because it had Jake Gyllenhaal in it,
Yeah.
an actor that I really like.
Mm.
But the movie, yes, it was very problematic.
Mm.
But a movie based off a video game, based off of a comic book that I love is Injustice. I know you probably haven't read the comic book. You
Mm.
probably haven't played the game.
I've never played Injustice, but
Okay.
it's on, believe it or not, I don't know. I'm not too sure if it still is,
Mhm.
but I know it was on the Game Pass last time I was on
Okay. If Injustice isn't, look for Injustice 2. That's the
there.
game I started on.
Mm.
I got that as a gift. Injustice 2. My daughter and I started playing it. My daughter fell in love with that game. I liked it.
Mm.
I like it. I liked it so much. I downloaded the app for the phone and the iPad. I had it on both my phone and my iPad for a while, and I just deleted it off my phone. I only have it on my iPad. I play
Mm.
that game every day to this day. I've been trying the game. I'm addicted to that game. I'm trying to get rid of that game,
Wow.
but I play Injustice 2 all the time, and I love that game.
I know it's like I know from what from the preview,
Mhm.
it's sort of like it's a one-on-one fighting game.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 It
Mm.
is a one-on-one fighting
Yeah.
game. Well, the premise of the story is Superman basically loses his mind
Mm.
because he's tricked into killing Lois Lane.
Ooh.
And because of that, he turns the world into a police state. And he basically is like there's going to be no more crime, no more any anything. He he kills like Superman just starts killing people,
Oh
kills
wow.
like different types. He kills villains.
Mm.
Um there's the scene, the very first scene of when he well, besides Lois, but the very first person he kills after he realizes he killed Lois is the Joker because
I've
the Joker,
heard about that.
yes, the
I've
Joker
heard
made
about
him
that.
kill
Kill
Lois.
Lois. It was the Joker. Yes, I've heard about
Okay,
that. I've heard the backstory on that.
so that movie, it doesn't follow the storyline to a T,
Mm.
but it is still so good. And I really love that movie.
Mm.
And I read the comics. The comics are just I love that. I've got to find like a complete graphic novel of them because
Mm.
me in my older age, I don't like single issues anymore. I want the whole story in one good trade paperback or hardback, whatever. I
Mm.
want the story all in one. As you can see over there, I got mostly thick comics, thick ones.
Mm.
Which that's another one I want to see as a Kingdom Come. I want to see that as a movie. But anyway,
Mm.
that's something different. I was going off on a tangent, but either way, Injustice, very good movie. You got to see it. I can go on for a while talking about superheroes and movies and things like that, so we're not going to do that.
Mm.
So there are good and bad game
Mm.
movies and TV shows. However, um, I think one things that we want to see though is if somebody decides to make a game movie, just use more elements of the game in there. That's
Mm.
all we're asking. Just use as much of the game in there. Gears of War, if they ever do a Gears of War movie, if they do that without putting the roadie run in there, I will just throw some stuff all around the theater. I would be so pissed. You got to put the roadie run in that movie,
Mm.
But either way, I gotta see that. I gotta see the do the reload. Something,
Mm.
There's
Yes,
something.
sir.
and they gotta have a brewmac, they gotta have a corpser, all of that.
Oh yeah,
So
they have to have every element from that game
correct.
in the. I'm not gonna say I'm not saying it's got to be perfect, but Gears of War 1 and 2 blew my mind. I mean, it was such on a, it was on the next level. It was just
Yeah.
that I'm gonna stop there because I'm getting a
Mhm.
little excited.
Right,
But
right. It's all
but
good.
yes, definitely agreeing with Chris. Be it has to be, very, very close to the game.
Yes, yeah.
Very, very close
So,
to the game.
yeah. We want to end it here because we went a little bit over time. However, again, we want to hear your opinions. So if you got any suggestions, any opinions, anything you want to say to us, just go ahead and hit us up at our email, told my wife podcast, all one word, at gmail.com. That's told my wife podcast at gmail.com. Let us know what you think, and we're here to listen. We're gonna be back with another episode. We may or may not talk about movies. We may talk about games. We don't know yet, but we'll figure out the next episode. And when we get to that, hopefully you'll still be with us listening. We're gonna go ahead and keep trying to improve as best as we can, everybody. So once again, getting ready to sign off. This is Slim
This is Black.
signing off, saying thanks you for listening. And with your movies, happy watching, everybody. Have a good one.